We just got a message from 300 million kilometers away. And get this, it might just hold the answer to one of the biggest questions humanity has ever asked.
I mean, it's a question you've probably wondered about yourself, right? Where did we really come from? How did life on Earth even begin? Did it all just magically start here, or did the key ingredients for life maybe come from somewhere else?
Well, believe it or not, our biggest clue yet comes from a tiny, tiny speck of dust. Dust that was brought all the way back to Earth from a rock hurtling from deep space 300 million kilometers from home.
So let's talk about that journey. It's a pretty epic one, all to meet a messenger from the very dawn of our solar system.
Okay, so this is asteroid Ryugu. It's what's known as a carbonaceous asteroid. Fancy term, but it just means it's super rich in carbon, the literal backbone of life. That makes it a prime suspect for hiding some of life's secrets. But what's really cool is that it's basically a perfect time capsule. For 4.5 billion years, this thing has just been floating out there, totally preserving the original recipe of our solar system. We're talking about a pristine sample from before the planets were even fully baked.
And just getting to this time capsule, wow, it was an absolutely incredible feat. Japan's Hayabusa 2 spacecraft traveled for years just to get to Ryugu. Then it had to bravely touch down on this spinning rock, not once, but twice, to scoop up some samples. And then it had to send that precious cargo all the way back to Earth. The whole mission took over half a decade, all for just a few grams of dust. Amazing.
And this wasn't just a one-off mission. It's all part of this huge global push to figure out where we come from. While Hayabusa 2 was at Ryugu, NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission was doing pretty much the same thing at another carbon-rich asteroid, this one called Bennu. So you've got two missions exploring two ancient rocks, all chasing one giant question.
Now, to be clear, finding organic molecules, the complex stuff life is made of, in space isn't totally new. We've seen them before in meteorites that have landed here on Earth, but what we found in the message from Ryugu, oh yeah, this is on a whole other level. A complete game changer.
All right, so what exactly was in that message? What did we find? Let's crack open that sample canister and take a look.
Locked away inside that ancient dust, scientists found 5 things, 5 absolutely critical pieces to the entire puzzle of life.
And this is the headline. For the very first time ever, we found all 5 of the fundamental letters, the things called nucleobases that build both DNA and RNA, all of them. And we found them together in a sample that came from space. This has never happened before. It's absolutely historic.
Okay, so let's break that down real quick. Think of DNA as the master blueprint for life. It uses 4 chemical letters, A, G, C, and T. Then there's RNA, which is like the messenger that carries out the blueprint's instructions. It uses A, G, and C, but it swaps T for another letter, U, which is uracil. Now, the really amazing part here is finding uracil. See, it's a super fragile molecule, so the fact that we found it perfectly preserved in this sample from space is some seriously powerful proof that these things really did form out there. And that's the thing. Ryugu had them all. Adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine, and uracil. It wasn't just a few random parts floating around. It was the whole shebang, the complete chemical alphabet you need to write the book of life.
So the big question is, what does it mean? What does finding this complete alphabet on a rock 300 million kilometers away have to do with us right here, right now, with our own story?
Well, it points to a really fascinating and honestly pretty profound idea for how it all got started on our planet.
Okay, so the theory goes something like this. Picture the early Earth. Billions of years ago, our planet was getting absolutely hammered by asteroids and comets during a period called the Late Heavy Bombardment. Now, this discovery from Ryugu really strengthens the idea that those impacts weren't just about destruction. They were a delivery service, a cosmic UPS, dropping off the exact ingredients, that complete alphabet we talked about, that life needed to get started in Earth's oceans.
To put it simply, the raw materials that make up you and me, they might not have been cooked up here on Earth at all. They might have been forged in space and delivered to our doorstep billions of years ago. It kind of means that, in a very real way, we could all be descendants of asteroids.
And a finding this big doesn't just change how we think about our own planet. It forces us to look up at the stars and start asking even bigger questions.
So, were the seeds of life on Earth really planted from the stars? I mean, the evidence from Ryugu makes a pretty powerful case. It suggests that life popping up here wasn't some random 1 in a trillion fluke. It happened because the ingredients were already out there, all over our solar system.
And that, of course, leads to the final, mind-blowing thought. If these building blocks of life are common on asteroids, and asteroids are, well, everywhere, does that mean the ingredients for life are scattered all across the cosmos? And if the ingredients are everywhere, could life be everywhere too? All of that from a single message delivered by a distant rock. Leaves you wondering, doesn't it?